being took out there with the Cleveland Cavs?
They'll be spilled.
The window, I would say if he gets Kawhi, the window is cracked open for this year. I still think that the Warriors, even LeBron plus Kawhi, once now that they've added Boogie Cousins, come playoff time this coming season, are going to have such overwhelming talent. But you bring up next offseason, everyone focuses on Kevin Durant. Klay Thompson, where did Klay Thompson's daddy play?
Oh, Lakers.
Lakers. Where does Klay Thompson's dad still work with the team, like, or at least do sports radio? Los Angeles. Like, that could be, it wouldn't just be potentially one of those guys leaving Golden State, but leaving Golden State to go to LeBron's team. That then changes the math entirely. But I'm glad you brought up the Cavs, because LeBron's letter, everyone can read it, what he wrote with Lee Jenkins, the I'm Coming Home piece. He says, I know this is going to be a long process. I know it's not going to be immediate. But there are two significant differences. One is in the Lakers' favor, one is not. What's in the Lakers' favor is LeBron said all that about Cleveland and signed a 1+1. Signed a one-year deal, essentially. With the Lakers, he has given them the trust and security of, I'll be here at least 3 years, probably the rest of my career. What's working against them is LeBron went to Cleveland when he was 29 and is now coming to the Lakers at 33. LeBron has played 15 years in this league. He is already in unprecedented territory as far as productivity this late in his career. So how long can we realistically think LeBron's not only going to be the best player in the world, but call it a top 3 player? Because we are now in, he just had the greatest year 15 we've ever seen from a guy. I looked it up. There's only been 15 guys, that average more than 25 points per game after year 10. After year 10, LeBron's done it every single year, years 11 through, well, every year of his career, but years 11 through 15. So now we have to look for some precedent, even if LeBron's going to break it. Kareem was still a top 5 player in year 17. Karl Malone, you could argue, was a top 5 player in year 18. Kobe was year 16, 17, but both of those years shortened due to injury.
All 3 of those players were into nutrition. All 3 of those players, extreme fanatics as far as finesse, fitness. So you could see the parallels with LeBron being compared to those 3 players.
And I think Karl Malone's the best example, because he is the guy whose body type, as far as all NBA history, if you took their faces away and just looked at height, weight, strength, what guy in the league history reminds you most of LeBron? Great player. I think it's Karl Malone. Now, Malone was a little more cut up. Malone was an amazing fitness guy. But so you say Malone was still a top 5 guy in year 18. Plus Malone went to college. So if LeBron is a Malone 2.0 athletically, could he get it to the 5 years that you're talking about? Could this go on to year 20, which seems insane? It could, but it's still, the clock is ticking even on LeBron.
This has been a great way. We started this show doubting Tom Brady. Then Tom Brady went out and did what he did. I don't know how many people...
To be fair, I started
there were some people that doubted what a quarterback can do at that age. We also started the show no one doubting LeBron James, but just questions like, what could he do in this year? And I think both those guys proved everybody wrong as far as longevity in professional sports when you take care of your body and you really focus on fitness and combine that with the skill with which you're playing. I'm curious, though, is Kawhi the only player, CC, that you think could team up with LeBron so they would contend this year? Is he really the only player out there that's available to them to make this coming season a contending season?
I think so. I think, being fair to the young roster that they have, 2 guys with tremendous championship pedigree in LeBron and Kawhi, I believe with the roster that they have now, if it's not totally depleted, yeah, they would be able to give Golden State and Houston a run for their money this season. Because Kawhi is that, let's not forget how good he was. And let's not forget how good he's been against the championship caliber team. So, yeah, man, Kawhi right now, even yesterday we had a list of potential trade. I mean, Kawhi is the guy, because the reason why, he's the answer to Kevin Durant.
Right. It's a matchup league, and he's the one guy. Why have the Warriors been so different in the finals the last 2 years than the first 2 years? Kevin Durant. And he's the one guy in the league, I'd say the guy best suited to guard Kevin Durant, right?
Yes. We heard announcers in the NBA playoffs talk about, well, Kevin Durant is shooting over a chair. Like, I hadn't heard that said as much in the NBA in all my years of listening to the NBA. But Kawhi took that chair away. Because you're not able to post up on Kawhi, because Kawhi is too strong for him. And with Kawhi's overall reach, and because of Kawhi's resume, defensively, they're going to allow Kawhi to be able to beat up on Kevin Durant far more than other players are able to do. So that's the reason why I like the Kawhi-LeBron partnership.
Well, and so what's the best player that's on that list that they could add other than Kawhi Leonard? Damian Lillard. Thing is this, we saw LeBron James at this level with a player at Damian Lillard's level run up against this team in the NBA Finals without Boogie. So throw Boogie out of it. Let's say Boogie never plays. And the Warriors won in 5. Now, Game 3, the Cavs could have won, and it maybe could have gone, but the Warriors were clearly the better team. So, like, Lillard would be an excellent piece for them. But to compete against this Warriors team, no. And you would have to add another. The Warriors have 2 of the 3 best players in the league. If the Cavs could the Lakers, pardon me. That's going to take a minute. If the Lakers could make it to where they have 2 of, let's say Kawhi coming off injury isn't the 4th best guy, but he's the 6th or 7th best guy, then all of a sudden you can start to squint hard enough to say maybe. I still think then you have Clay and Draymond and the other pieces. Sure. But yes, Kawhi is the one guy that where you would say maybe, just like Chris Paul adding to James Harden made you say maybe.
Kawhi is the one guy, but also when you look at trying to match up against Golden State, it's not only those 2 superstars that we're trying to, LeBron and Kawhi, to just hypotheticals, but it's who's going to play those other positions because you put so much pressure. How much pressure can you put on Steph playing defense? So then, how much pressure can I put on Draymond? That Draymond can't help off, and we need to have a superstar on the offensive end to be able to force Kevin Durant to be able to play defensive basketball for the entirety of the game. Now, to me, I believe that's one of the ways that you're able to beat Golden State, and now they're just not able to do that. So he does need a superstar, but those other players, and I believe having a guy like Kuzma going against Draymond, with him being far more athletic, how it could stress out Golden State's defense, and they would see problems.
All right, let's take a break. We'll talk much more about this coming up. But on the other side, it sounds like Anthony Davis got exactly what he wanted when Boogie Cousins left town. Next, first things first.
The best of the best go head-to-head on the biggest night of the summer. The MLB All-Star Game, July 17th on Fox.
Copper Tone Sport, proven to protect street skaters and freestylers. Stops up to 97% UV. Lasts through heat, through sweat. Copper Tone, proven to protect.
Every time a customer walks through the door, we promise to take care of the car. There's no shortcuts in life. If you're going to do something, do it right the first time. Firestone, complete auto care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
The moment you realize you're ready to make dinner, but your oven isn't.
At Lowe's, we have more appliances to choose from, so you'll find the right one at the right price. And we'll deliver it for free.
4th of July savings continue with up to 40% off select appliance special values.
It's 99-cent kids' nights at Golden Corral. Now kids eat and drink for just 99 cents. Under $1. Woo! It's prime time for family time. Come on now. Golden Corral. Your choice.
Some things should never change, like the crisp, cold refreshment of Busch. But some things should, like Frank's Camp Sauce.
Belly buttons are funny. Are you an innie or an outie? What do you got?
Innie?
Tell me what you got.
Howdy.
Tell me what you got.
Innie.
Innie got free innies and only one outie. What are the chances?
Yeah, wow.
Salads should look like this. Crisp leaves of lettuce, freshly made dressing, clean food that looks this good, delivered to your desk. Now delivering to home or office. Panera, food as it should be.
Starting now, everyone gets the plan they want. Mom gets the unlimited she needs, Dad gets the unlimited he needs, the kids get the unlimited they need. Go mix and match. Ow! Sounds awesome. One family can now get different unlimited plans, starting at $40 per line on the network you deserve.
Like a supermarket, the
dark web is where identity thieves buy and sell your personal information. But now you can protect yourself with Experian. See if your social security number has been compromised with a free dark web triple scan at Experian.com/scan.
Want more from your next SUV? Check out the Hyundai Tucson. Awarded the most dependable small SUV by J.D. Power. And a 5-star overall safety rating by industry leaders. Thanks to an assortment of advanced safety features. All backed by America's best warranty. The Hyundai Tucson. A great deal more than just a great deal. Save up to $2,500 on the 2018 Tucson. Or get 0% APR for up to 48 months.
How does Dove Men Plus Care Antiperspirant protect you differently?
This is soothing. It's comfortable. Dove goes on smoothly. You don't have to worry about drying out your skin.
Try Dove Men Plus Care, the only antiperspirant with 48-hour sweat protection. And Dove's 1/4 moisturizer technology. Tough on sweat, not on skin.
The FIFA World Cup quarterfinals on Fox.
Come work for an innovative company that pushes the boundaries of connectivity, entertainment, and information. Spectrum, America's fastest growing TV, internet, and voice provider, is looking for individuals who are interested in making the most out of their career. Employees enjoy full benefits, best-in-class 401k, and complimentary services. Spectrum has a wide range of positions available, so find the right opportunity for you. Just go to jobs.spectrum.com and apply today.
One incredible night of rock and blues with 2 Grammy Award-winning guitarists. Buddy Guy and Johnny Land. July 11th, Rose Music Center at the Heights. Reserve tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com and RoseMusicCenter.com. The real deal, Buddy Guy and Johnny Land together live.
First Things First is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
All right, we'll get to the Warriors in a second, but first, new Lakers signee Lance Stevenson yamming all over some poor guy in the gym. I love when they post these NBA guys playing other guys.
I mean, who's the dude checking him out? Who's that guy? Wait for it. This guy, the guy at the end is my favorite. He's so excited. Oh, man. Looks like there's a 14-year-old kid out there. What up, Steve?
Was there any NBA players in there?
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, of course he's going to yam. All right, this is Zaire Wade. This is D-Wade's 16-year-old son did step-back jumper over Knicks guard Tim Hardaway.
Now, that's an NBA player. Guard young Zaire.
He's pretty good.
Oh, absolutely, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's emerged in the last year on the national scene. You can see a lot of on video, sitting on. It's hard being a professional son. Oh my goodness, guys! I mean, all the pressure, but it's nice to be able to see them enjoy the game.
All right, I love Major League Baseball. This is Ken Broxton of the Brewers. You know what number he wears? 23. Jumping up like it too, like Michael Jordan, snagging the ball. It's a good catch.
Listen, these are my favorite plays in baseball. The stolen home runs. We saw an amazing one at the beginning of the week. The guy that climbed the wall. But this is straight away dead center.
Straight away on the 4th of July, my man got the stars and stripes on the socks. You gotta enjoy it. High flying act. Check him out. Right, got stars. Left, we got stripes. You know, that's what you come to me for. You don't come to me like, what happened? You're like, what's Chris seeing? Help in the bed.
That is 1,000% accurate.
Yeah, it's like John Mack. You see that guy eating that hot dog? See, he's into this game.
Exactly what he used to do.
He's into that hot dog.
We are learning more about DeMarcus Cousins' exit from New Orleans. Keep in mind the Pelicans played well after he went down with that season-ending Achilles injury, losing in the second round to the Warriors. Reports are that if Anthony Davis wanted Boogie back, Boogie would be back. AD reportedly enjoyed the style the Pelicans played without Cousins, as well as the environment in the locker room. So, Nick, I ask you, you surprised Davis wouldn't want Cousins back in New Orleans?
I'm very surprised. This is...
Because it appeared they were playing
they
well
played
together.
very well. Beginning of the year, You saw, I thought, some of the best basketball either had played in their careers. Anthony Davis, I think, would be a perfect stretch 5 in the NBA, but he doesn't want to play 5. Anthony Davis wants to play the 4. He's been adamant about that. Teams want him to play, his team has wanted him to play the 5. Man, he wants to have a big man alongside him. And I know, because it's been well reported, that post-injury, but pre-offseason, Boogie was offered a contract by New Orleans, 2 years, $40 million. So what does this say to me? I think the Brow, who is amazing, may have slightly overreacted to that series against Portland. When they played, Anthony Davis had never won a single playoff game. They then sweep the 3-seed Blazers. They do it without Boogie. You see the best of Drew Holiday. You see playoff Rondo. Mirotic is playing well. It's like, hey, let's try to run this thing back. Boogie does have locker room issues, and there are questions about coming off the area, of course, but the idea that Anthony Davis in today's NBA would not want his team to at least try to run it back with another top 15 player, that does surprise me. It surprised me quite a bit.
I'm not surprised, because when you're on television, you're a fan of the game. It's easy to miss on what goes on day to day. Obviously, if New Orleans, if all the reports were true, that everything was going great with Boogie Cousins, there's no way they're letting him go to Golden State at the mid-level cap exemption. There's no way. Like, there's no way you're letting a top 15 player, as Nick points out with him, leave out the door with no compensation. You were telling me, even when he was hurt, Chris, they got to sign him. He's a huge asset and everything. So obviously, all that chemistry and everything they had in the locker room, that wasn't true. That's to me, that's what I draw from it. When a player like him leaves for that kind of money, and then now they're trying to, well, if Anthony Davis wanted him there, Anthony Davis, he would have had him there. So he's not there. So the star players, just like LeBron, Anthony Davis, get used to this. You're going to start getting some heat for other decisions. Well, why isn't Rondo there now? Well, why isn't DeMarcus there now? So I believe that people overhyped the situation, and they weren't there on a day-to-day. And Cousins started showing signs of the other places and the type of attitude he had when he was in those other places, because he's never been consistent as far as his overall attitude of coming to work day to day. He has not been able to master that. So I'm not surprised at all that they allowed him to be able to leave the building. The reason I am so surprised is because we saw pieces of evidence that these guys had a really good relationship. Not just that New Orleans offered him the contract extension. In the All-Star game, whose jersey did Anthony Davis wear? Sometimes as a athlete and you're in a locker room on a team, you do things because you know people will like them. But do they really mean that much to you? Obviously not, the way this planned out. I've been on too many teams. I've been in professional sports to see this happen. Like, that don't mean we're fond of each other. That was just a nice gesture for him potentially having a good season. So sometimes we read a lot more into those things than really are there.
That's fair, but I think it also should be noted that this report is not Anthony Davis wanted Boogie Cousins gone. The report is if Anthony Davis had pounded the table for him, they would have brought him back. I do think what happened is Boogie turns down that $40 million. The Pelicans then see, once free agency hits, we can probably get him for less. Then Julius Randle becomes available, and so we're like, oh, okay, we might be able to replace some of that production at a much lower cost. And I don't think New Orleans, I believe New Orleans still thought they were going to be able to bring him back. No one saw him going to Golden State that quickly for that little bit of money. Right? Like, Golden State didn't even believe it. When he called Golden State, they thought it was a joke. So I don't think New Orleans was pushing him out the door, but because they are afraid that Anthony Davis could leave in a few years, if Anthony Davis...
If they were afraid of that, why didn't they bring Boogie back?
Because, no, that's what I'm saying. If Davis had demanded that he come back, then I think they would have. But I don't think this is evidence that Anthony Davis wanted him gone. He might have been... with Julius Randle, with this, like, I don't think this is that we have any reason to believe that Anthony Davis said don't bring him back, because they did try to bring him back.
Okay, Julius Randle, he's not going to play the 3, right? He's going to be a 4, right?
He's going to be a 4, I would imagine.
So what's Anthony Davis going to play?
Anthony Davis going to have to play the 5 a lot. Or, I mean, they'll have an undersized, they could maybe switch it up offense and defense, but that's one of the reasons why I didn't think, from everything I've heard about Anthony Davis, coaches want him to play the 5. Alvin Gentry likes playing that fast tempo.
The signing says they want him to play the 5.
Absolutely.
My Boogie Cousins says they want him to play the 5.
The other thing that was reported was that AD had an